The country has gone through a very tough time. There's a tragedy, that boat that capsized on the lake. Now, many people have been wondering and asking themselves whether actually investment in the marine subsector, so to speak, has attracted the kind of due attention and money it deserves to cover the risks and then at the same time be able to make money for those that have, piqued interest in going that side. Sir, it's nice to have you on the show, Money and Markets.
Thank you, Charles, for hosting me.
Very good. Now, for starters, how would you rate the development of the marine subsector in this country?
Well, it hasn't developed as fast as we would have wanted and as fast as the other sectors in the economy. There's a lot to be done, and there are a number of stakeholders who should play part in making the industry go to the levels we would like them to be at.
Okay. Now, what is missing? What can we do right to really, bring this to speed?
Well, in our day-to-day lives, we face a lot of risk exposures in our different operations and businesses. And the way we manage those exposures defines how far we go and how we develop. Risk management starts from the individual, as for the owner of the ship, and then to the other stakeholders, like the insurance, who play another part. Marine insurance is the first insurance in the world and one of the earliest professions in this world. How does it happen? How does it work? Marine insurance covers the owner of, one, the cargo, and two, the vessel. As the owner, there are things you have to do. For example, you have to make sure that people who are boarding your vessel are having life jackets. Second, you must ensure that the vehicle is in good mechanical condition, just like a car. So what would the owner of the ship which sank have done to alleviate or to mitigate the risk which was facing him? One, to make sure that the vessel is in good mechanical condition. Two, to make sure that every person on board has got a life jacket. Secondly, we would have taken up insurance.
What role would insurance have played in helping avert this problem from happening?
We look at it from two aspects. One, the insurance company, before it takes on a risk, it ensures there are certain parameters which are met, the basic minimum standards, and therefore would require the ship owner to take into consideration a few housekeeping issues. Like I mentioned, making sure that the engine is in good mechanical condition, the vessel hull has no damage, has nothing like a leakage and all that. Now, insurers also have got reinsurers. Reinsurers would only give cover for the insurer if some basic standards are met.
Have already been met.
Yes.
Now, what's the level of engagement between you players in the industry and players or investors in marine-related business?
Yeah, thank you very much. We have engaged this industry. Actually, you'd want to know that a number of vessels are now being insured. This is a recent development, because in the past, most of the people didn't think about insurance. So having said that, for our role as insurers to make sure that nothing of the nature what have happened happens again is to ensure that, one, the ship owner classifies the ship. There is a classification community, yes, international community, which actually gives a certificate to the person. Now, if the owner, I wouldn't know who it is, I would say in general, had taken that initiative of requirement that everybody should classify and certify. That's where I would like to mention at least 4 stakeholders in this industry. One is the owner, and I've mentioned what he has to do. Second, the public. The public should ensure that if I am boarding a ship, I must make sure that certain parameters minimum are met. The third one is the ship owner community. There are associations. They should make sure that their members meet the minimum standards. The third one is the government or the regulatory body, like the Ministry of Works. It should ensure that no ship which carries passengers for public, as a public means, also business operation, ensures that it meets certain specifications, and they should be listed down. and ensure that it's followed and monitored. Now, the other aspect is the international community, which gives the certificates, which should make sure that it supports this industry to get the certification as and when they require. The last one is the insurance, who gives the cover to make sure that if anything happens, the ship can be repaired, or if it's completely lost, it can be replaced, and the person who bought the insurance is able to do the business, as well as compensating the people who were on board in terms of loss of life, compensating them fully so that their next of kin can be able to be compensated.
Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
It's been nice talking to you on Money and Markets.
Thank you.
Well, viewers, you've heard it. You cannot, roll back the clock. What has happened has already happened, but we can draw lessons that can help us prevent another tragedy.